I am a proud Arkansas native, no doubt about that. If you've ever spent time around me, there's no hiding it. I'm a Razorback fan through and through. I love the state. I love all the outdoor adventures that the state has to offer. See, growing up in Arkansas, I did a lot of whitewater kayaking, canoeing, rock climbing, hiking, mountain biking, fishing, hunting. It's just an outdoor lover's paradise. It really, truly is. Kind of like if you take a Western state, like a Montana or Colorado, you just tuck it in right down there. That's really what it's like. There's a lot of mountains, a lot of things to explore, a lot of caves to explore. Just a really cool state. Well, just recently I stumbled upon a guy by the name of Blane Howard, and he was writing some parodies about Arkansas, about the state, about the Hogs, the sports teams. And I love anybody who's going to represent the state that I'm so proud of. Just like I'm a big fan of Clay Newcomb. A lot of people know that, but that's one of the reasons why, because he takes the state that I am so proud of and he speaks about it in a way that really represents it well. And the same is true with Blane. So I wanted to have him on, and we talk about all things Arkansas. We talk about the incredible outdoor adventures that it has to offer, from the fly fishing to the hiking, the mountain biking, the whitewater. And then we really hone in on the incredible deer hunting opportunities. Now, I didn't say incredible as far as the animals are big, but there really are just some fantastic deer hunting opportunities in Arkansas. We talk about the state that we love and the outdoor adventures that we love it for. This episode is brought to you by my friends over at Blocker Outdoors. They have clothing for every one of your next pursuits. Whether you're looking to go out on a turkey hunt, go out on a duck hunt or a deer hunt, they've got something for you. And here's what I can promise you about it. Don't let the price tag fool you. It's going to be affordable and you're going to think, man, this is just too good to be true. It's not. The clothing is going to perform. It's going to perform very well. Go check out Blocker Outdoors as you gear up for turkey season or as you get ready to head to Arkansas for your next outdoor adventure.
For the true sportsman, it's more than a pastime. It's a way of life. Embrace the lifestyle of hunting, fishing, and the thrill of the wild. Live the life. Be typical.
Guys, there are a lot of names that you can trust in the archery world. However, not many stick out as much as the name Lancaster Archery. Guys, if you've been around archery or bow hunting at all, you've probably heard of Lancaster. Why? That's because they're experts, and that's because they're your one-stop shop for all things archery. I've never needed something and not found it at Lancaster. I've also been able to find reviews and tips using the product that I needed that Lancaster had. Guys, Lancaster is phenomenal. They are experts in the trade. They know the equipment because they use the equipment. And you can pretty much get anything you've ever needed archery related at lancasterarchery.com. You can also learn about the products you need on their YouTubes, in their videos, on their social media. You can also get tips about how to use the products. Guys, Lancaster is a phenomenal one-stop shop. And here's what I'll tell you. Sometimes you gotta be mindful of who you're taking information from. You don't have to worry about it at all when it comes to Lancaster. I put full faith in the guys over at Lancaster. They know the products. They sell the products. They give you advice on the products. They give you support on the products. You can call and ask them anything. They'll get you lined out. They'll sell it to you, and then they'll support you even after you buy it and you need help figuring it out. Guys, go check out lancasterarchery.com for everything you need archery related. All right, Mr. Blane Howard.
What's up?
Sounds like a magician, but he is not. He is a country music artist, hails from the great state of Arkansas. This is kind of unique for me. This is 2 weeks in a row that I've had country music singers on. Last week, Mr. Chris Colston.
Love Chris.
Texas. And I said in the podcast, the only time I don't like him is during the Battle of the Boot, which is when Arkansas plays LSU, because he's kind of an LSU fangirl. And so that's the only time I don't like him. And I stumbled upon Mr. Blane because of his love for the Razorbacks and the songs that he writes for the Razorbacks. Where'd you get the idea, man? Like, were you just like, man, Arkansas, we need a little boost here. I'm going to write a song for him.
First of all, love Chris Colston. We played a show together. I think it was maybe the year before COVID or maybe COVID year. I don't know, with Whiskey Myers over in East Texas. It was awesome.
Yeah.
So,
to know Chris is to love Chris.
Yeah. Love him. Good guy. Great music. So got to at least tip my hat there. I back in 2014, the first kind of anything that I'd ever written for Arkansas or Arkansas fans, the Arkansas Department of Tourism had a songwriting contest called the Song of Arkansas. And it was like, you write a song about Arkansas for a commercial campaign they were going to use for tourism. And so I wrote a song called Arkansas Y'all for it. And I didn't win, but I got second and got to go around the state, play it at a lot of radio stations. And it kind of, I wouldn't say it went viral, but, it had a decent amount of views throughout the state. And because of its success, I wrote a Razorback version. So I changed the words up, made it tailored towards the Hogs, included coaches' names and all that stuff, and put it out as a single. And at the time, Brett Bielema was the coach. I'd gotten to meet him a few times through some like Razorback Foundation events and like when they go around to the different cities. And he loved the song too. So he used the Razorback version in the stadium on senior day. I think it was either 2015 against LSU, which was really cool. I've got people sending me videos of like them playing in the stadium, which was awesome. And I kind of thought that was like the end of my like sports song, whatever, stuff. And during COVID, when everything kind of shut down music industry wise, I'd already done some like Kansas City Chiefs videos on Facebook and things like that. But I wrote a song for the Chiefs, and next thing you know, it has a couple million streams. It's being played on like 30 or 40 radio stations across 3 or 4 different states. So that's kind of where I thought, well, maybe there's something for social media with this. So I can kind of write these songs, work it for social media, make some new fans, and kind of, get my name out there to people who maybe haven't heard my original music. And luckily the Chiefs songs have done well. The past couple seasons, especially during the playoffs, they've just racked up a ton of views. I think over the last 2 seasons, maybe just in the last year or so, since the playoffs in 2024 and then the playoffs this year, the videos got like 40 or 45 million views across social media, which is kind of what made me think maybe I can do this for the Razorbacks. So obviously Arkansas beat Tennessee, last fall, beat the Vols. That was a big football win. So I did a little Rocky Top parody, and all of a sudden it's all over TikTok, it's all over Facebook, and radio stations are playing clips of it. So that's kind of how all the sports videos and the songs kind of came about.
Now, and I've tried to explain this to multiple people, and it's so hard for some people to wrap their minds around. People don't understand that in Arkansas, like the Razorbacks are absolute kings. Like, and there's no, and it's hard for people to wrap their minds around because, like, I live in Kansas. So you've got KU, you've got K-State, both really good schools. And then you've got the Royals, and then you've got the Chiefs. And so it's like, man, there's all this different, like, separate love. And most states you look at, Arkansas only has one big college. And I'm not knocking Arkansas State, but they're just not even in the same ballpark. They're not a Power 5 conference. And so we have one team across every sport. Like, there is no professional teams in Arkansas. There are no other major colleges in Arkansas. Like, the Razorbacks are the kings. And so people don't understand this kind of passion that the Razorbacks have. And that's why, like, when you meet a Razorback, it's apparent. Like, you don't ever just see a Razorback fan like out and about. You see a Razorback fan out and about, and you're like, dude's a Razorback. I know it for a fact. And so when I saw your music, I'm like, I love it, man. I love it because Arkansas has this reputation of being, small and underdogs. And we have the reputation of only having one tooth, and our we got to go to the outhouse. And, and so you see Arkansas put on a platform like that, and it's like, dude, this is awesome. Like, I love it. And so, and I don't know, have you ever got to meet Clay Newcomb?
I've never met Clay. I've communicated with him a little bit through social media. I love following his page and stuff like that. And I've seen him pop up on other people's pages as well, but I've never met him in person.
And again, he's one of my favorite dudes in the industry all around, just because, again, he brings this light to Arkansas that I really enjoy. He brings a good light to Arkansas. And so I really enjoy that about people who make the state I'm so proud of make it look good. And so that's why I was like, I got to have him on, man. Like, not only is it a cool song, about the sport and the team I love, but it's bringing light to the state I love. And,
totally.
Going back, Clay actually has this podcast, and I've always wanted to have Clay on to recap this podcast, and I never have. But he has a podcast all about Arkansas and going into the naming of it, why it's pronounced the way it is. The misconceptions and where people got these ideas about Arkansas, and just a really, really cool podcast. And so I always wanted to have him on, but yeah, I like it when professionals in their trade bring a good light to Arkansas. And so that's why I was like, I got to have the guy on. The song's dope, but past that, it brings light to the state I love,
Absolutely. And that's, the original version of Arkansas Y'all that I wrote is, it talks about the state, it talks about how Johnny Cash was born here and all the different things you can do in the state. And obviously you can't fit everything into a 3-minute song, but the whole chorus is, everybody counts us out. Everybody thinks we're small, but no matter what, I'm proud to say I'm from Arkansas. And that's what the entire song is about. And then obviously that goes right into the Razorback thing, because you're right. Arkansas does not have professional sports teams. Like we have the Travelers, a AA team in Little Rock. We had some I don't even know what you call them, minor league hockey teams like the Glacier Cats or River Blades in Little Rock. Yeah. But we do not have professional sports teams. And Arkansas controls 99%. I don't know a single person that's just like, oh, I'm only an Arkansas State fan or I'm only a UCA fan. Mm-hmm. Most people in the state, I would say, are Arkansas fans. And then they also support the other schools, which is a cool thing about Arkansas. How many states out there can be like, I support every single, Division I or Division II or whatever university in the state? Because you think of, Kansas State, Texas A&M, Houston, how many states can actually do that? There's not many that can say, I support every single school, which is really cool. So when Arkansas State or UALR or Little Rock, whatever they're called now, makes the NCAA tournament, we can all get together. I remember when Arkansas State made the NCAA tournament when I was a kid in 6th grade, we all stopped in the afternoon to watch the game because it was a big deal to support every school in the state, not just the Hogs. But obviously the Hogs are the main thing. There's a reason why most people in Arkansas are Cowboys fans or they're Cardinals fans in baseball. It's because when you were, especially you, I can remember even in the 90s growing up, you didn't have every NFL football game on the TV every Sunday.
Right.
The Cowboys were on because that was the team that was closest to us. It was the Dallas market. So everybody watched the Cowboys. And if you got a baseball game, you may have gotten the Rangers, but you probably got the Cardinals. And so everybody on Saturdays, the Hogs were on. Everybody got together for it. It was, if you weren't going to the game, you were getting together in a big group to watch the game, even if they were terrible, which they weren't back then. But I just remember so much about the weekends. I didn't care about NFL football until I got older, maybe into middle school and stuff, where you could play on video games and things like that, just because you couldn't really watch. You watched the Cowboys games if they were on, you watched the playoffs, but that was it. Arkansas, in the state of Arkansas, the Hogs are everything.
Yeah. It's a religion, man. It really is. And again, it's so hard for people to understand. And I'm not saying that football is bigger in Arkansas than it is everywhere else. But again, you just have so many other outlets that people are finding themselves in. Whereas Arkansas, there's one outlet and it's the Hogs. And that's it, man. Everyone loves the Razorbacks, even when we suck. And unfortunately, that's majority of my lifetime.
I know a lot of people give Sam Pittman crap now because of the whole "we're a proud damn state," but he's right. I think he said that the first time and everybody went, "That's us." He's absolutely right. You can say what you want about Sam Pittman and his coaching job or whether you want him there or not, but he was right on the money with that quote, because we are a very proud state, not only for our football team and everything else, but just the beauty of our state as well and what we have to offer. You got the Ozarks, you got all the rivers. It is an absolutely beautiful state. There really is a reason they call it the natural state. It's just beauty everywhere.
Yeah. Now I am a proud Arkansas native. And I love the natural resources that Arkansas has as far as hunting and fishing goes. And that's why if you're new here to this podcast, I am not a sports podcast. I am a Razorback fan, and a lot of times I make fun of other teams. That's about it. But I love the hunting and fishing, the outdoor opportunity. I don't even want to say outdoor, like as far as hunting and fishing. Arkansas is just an outdoor lover's paradise. Like it is. And again, like I've tried to explain to people, and they just don't get it because we're not known for mountains like Colorado is known for mountains. However, like the hiking is phenomenal. There's such good whitewater rafting. There's such good. I mean, I grew up rock climbing and mountain biking. Like there's all of these outdoor adventures that you can find yourself on. Now I live in Kansas, and you can either hike a wheat field or swim in a mud creek. Like there are no outdoor experiences.
You got to go much further east in Kansas to find hills. Yeah.
Yeah. There's great hunting and fishing, but no like outdoor adventure.
Right.
But Arkansas, it's just a state that is packed full of just fun outdoor adventure. I mean, just 2 weeks ago, we was back home and went home for spring break and spent a week at Devil's Den. And like my kids are just like, blown away. They're like, wait a minute, there's caves. Like this is so cool. And there's rock climbing opportunities. There's, if you're a hiker, if you're a mountain biker, I grew up kayaking and canoeing. And I mean, there's just fly fishing and, oh my gosh, man.
I've got a cousin that goes down to like, the foothills of the Ozarks and the Boston Mountains around Fayetteville, and they go camping every year. Like hiking and camping, there's just like so many areas to do that. And not only you can talk about fishing, but I grew up in Hot Springs. I mean, we're right between Lake Washita, Lake Hamilton, Lake Catherine. So boating, skiing, wakeboarding, tubing, just going out, being on the water like that. I know that's not like what people call outdoors, but it is. I mean, you're out. There's such a huge culture of that in the state. Lake DeGray down in Arkadelphia. I know, like, it was at Beaver Lake. What is it up in Heber Springs? Like, and there's like Table Rock kind of comes into the Arkansas on the northwest corner as well. There's so much of a culture of that as well. Like, so you just kind of mix all of that in together. And I know it technically not outdoors, but talk about being outside and the beauty of the state. I grew up, my dad runs a golf course, and Arkansas has some of the most beautiful golf courses you've ever seen. Cause the ones up there in Northwest Arkansas are on the side of the foothills of the Ozark Mountains. They're just absolute beauty all over the state to get outside in any way possible.
Oh, dude, it's funny. Like, I'm not a golfer. Actually, the only thing I love about golf is Top Golf. Like, I despise actually playing around.
Top Golf's a good time.
Mainly because I suck. But anyways, and it's funny. Like I said, I live here in Kansas, and you run into so many dudes, and they're like, "Oh, you're from Arkansas? You ever heard of Big Sugar? Oh, you're from Arkansas? You ever heard of?" And I'm like, "Yeah." I mean, all these golf courses. My granddad and my dad golfed my entire life, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, dude, Arkansas is just world class." Like when it comes to outdoor stuff, and no, man, there's just such this culture, and I love it, dude. I love it's almost a culture of just exploration and just being outdoors. And like you said, I mean, the lake atmosphere is so much different, and Arkansas offers some of the most beautiful lakes known to man. Like,
yes,
when I take people from Kansas to a lake, they're like, "Holy crap, look how clear it is." I'm like, "Yeah, because all you've ever seen is mud holes." Like,
oh yeah,
and it just, yeah, dude. I mean, but if you go, like, we have my brother and sister-in-law live in Rogers, and so we're up there all the time, right in that Northwest Arkansas heart. And there's just like bike trails. Like we went to a coffee shop, and you got to ride a bike trail to get to this coffee shop. And it's like way back in the middle of nowhere on this trail. Like, and then, you look at, there's restaurants along bike trails because people are just out mountain biking and hiking and rock climbing. And so there's little restaurants to stop and eat at on these trails in the mountains. Like, it's just, I love the culture of the outdoor life that Arkansas offers. And that to me is what I miss most. And that to me is like, when we go back home, it's like, let's get out and explore, because that's what this state was built for. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. And obviously, like, I grew up in the time where video games were popular. They're not as popular as they're now, but I don't remember playing with my friends and playing video games very often. It was always outside doing something, whether you're playing basketball in the driveway, you're out riding your bikes, or we would literally just walk through the woods to find whatever we could find in our neighborhood, or, we just spent so much time outside in the woods doing whatever. Like, that's just what we did in groups of 8 to 10 kids. We just go out and explore. And like that, I still feel like that's alive in Arkansas. Like, even There's an RV park that's 2 miles from my parents' house in Hot Springs. It's on Lake Catherine. They have obviously the boating and the fishing and all that stuff. They've got frisbee golf and whatever else, but they have mountain bike trails just for people that want to come in, be on the lake, and want to do, like, the amount of opportunity to just get outside and do something in the state of Arkansas it's unreal. And I'm sure you could probably, you could compare it to, like, people do the same thing in Montana or Wyoming or wherever, but like for such a small state that's close to big cities in Texas and Kansas and wherever else, like, there's just so many great opportunities to get outside.
It really is. I mean, that's actually a great way to put it. It's almost like a Western state tucked right in there. I mean, it really is. I mean, yeah. I mean, how tall is, the highest point in Arkansas is really low. I think it's like 2,100
Yeah,
feet.
it's only like it's between, it might be 2,200 or something like that. That sounds about right. But like, still, like, I mean, you've got, like, I grew up in Hot Springs. Like, we talk about mountains there, like here in the Ouachita Mountains. They're not huge, but you go into downtown Hot Springs, which is just, you'd walk the downtown area and you can walk right up West Mountain or up to the viewpoint. Like, there's so many opportunities to just hike and walk right off of downtown Hot Springs, which has, it seems, they've done a good job of maintaining a lot of and restoring a lot of the original stuff from the early 1900s. So even that aspect of, like, go walk downtown, check out the places Al Capone used to hang out, and then go hike that, 800-foot, 1,000-foot mountain and get the overview of everything and touch the hot water coming out of the ground at 147 degrees. Like, that's just so cool to me.
I was wrong. It's 2,700 feet. Mount Magazine is, and it doesn't seem that way. Like, it doesn't seem like, I understand these aren't like, 13ers or 14ers or 15, like 1,000 feet mountains, but there's still, couple hour hikes to the top of them, like really enjoyable hikes. I mean, again, my kids always love doing the Petit Jean or the Devil's Den or, all of these incredible places that Arkansas has to offer. And then, I mean, you want to get out and you want to talk about the creeks and the rivers, like the fishing that Arkansas offers. Oh my gosh. World record brown trout's pulled out of Arkansas. I mean, the water is so beautiful, crystal clear. I mean, my kids can swim and have a good time. We can fish, we can float the river and catch, trout. It's just man, again, I can't go into how much I love the state enough. I love the people. I love the atmosphere. I love the outdoors. I love the adventure atmosphere that is built there. And that is, now the deer hunting sucks. I mean, we don't have big deer. That there's no arguing that.
Compared to Kansas, we definitely don't.
Yeah. Now, you grew up even a little further south. So what was hunting like growing up for you?
I was not a hunter growing up. A lot of my friends were hunters. They went to duck camp and they went to deer camp, and a lot of them went up to like Batesville or Mountain Home area to go deer hunting. But my dad, like I said, my dad worked at a golf course, so weekends are big. So when most people were going to, deer hunt and stuff like that, my dad was working. So like we never really, not that we didn't have the opportunity, it just wasn't something that we could do very often. I did go hunting with a friend one time when I was probably 13 or 14 years old. And it was, at the time, I think it was my first experience. It was cold and windy, and we were missing a Razorback football game. So I was like, I'd rather be watching the football game. But I always wanted to go hunting. My mom's side of the family up in Kansas, they always hunted. All my friends did. I had plenty of camo and things like that too, but it just wasn't something that we really had the time for growing up. And then as I started dating my wife, we dated for a couple years and then got engaged and all that stuff. Her family's from Camden, Arkansas, which I love that we are both from Arkansas. And I just started, I think the first Thanksgiving that I was down to visit them, that we were dating, they were like, do you want to go hunting with us in the morning? We're going to go. Or, hey, when you come down, we're going to go hunting. If you want to make sure you got warm clothes or whatever, you can borrow from us. And I had some warm clothes and I was like, absolutely. And my wife's like, you do not have to go. I was like, no, I've always wanted to go. Like, I just never had the time. So I just started going with them. Started out literally like the Friday, Saturday after Thanksgiving. And then now it has turned into, when we have the time, we've got little kids now, but like I go in early for muzzleloader if I can. I go in for opening weekend. Haven't gotten into bow hunting yet. I really want to, But right now, just
why?
Why do I want to bow hunt?
Why have you not gotten into it?
Oh, I have not gotten into it because
my gosh.
Again, what I really need to do is I need to find like a good public land hunting spot here in Nashville. Unfortunately, with so many people, those are hard to find.
Mm-hmm.
I really need to get like a small deer lease somewhere here near Nashville that I can go to. But again, I've got kids that are currently about to be 5 and about to be 2. So I don't have a whole lot of time to get away on the weekends at the moment either, but I really wanting to get into it just because it just seems like such an adrenaline rush. Like they've got to be so much closer and you've got to be so much more accurate, and the amount of prep. I can't just be 400 yards away with a rifle and not have to worry about it. So
I'll tell you what, just so everybody knows, I'll give you a little plug here. We'll pay some bills real quick. In August, Blane is coming to Wichita to play. Where'd you say that was?
Wichita Union Stockyards.
Wichita Union Stockyards. I think it's the
biggest dance floor in Kansas. So if you want to come do some two-stepping.
And I heard he's going to call the Hogs. And I heard for all you Jayhawk fans, he's going to sing one of his Arkansas songs just to remember what happened in March. Make sure you don't forget.
I'll do the Chief stuff too. So, you may get mad about the Arkansas stuff, but I'll do the Chief stuff too. So I'll keep you
all right. So make plans August. I think you said 23rd. I'll be there. I mean, dude, you don't want to see me dance. I ain't got no rhythm. I can't play the radio.
I promise you're not the worst.
You'd be a surprise, big dog.
I promise you're not.
You're like, hey, why are you twerking out there, dude? Like, you're supposed to be two-stepping. Why are you twerking? I'm like, well, that's the only thing.
I've seen it.
That's what I do, baby. Anyways, I'll make a deal with you. You come early in the day. We'll hang out. I'll have you a bow ready, and we'll do some shooting, get you headed in the right direction. Then you could take that bow and put it to good use.
I would love to. My brother-in-law is a bow hunter. He hadn't done it as much recently, but we've talked about like he has 2 bows. Like we gotta come on. I gotta come in early. We gotta figure it out. Problem is, our deer lease that we have in Arkansas is right on the Ouachita River, 30 miles from Louisiana. If you know anything about that part of the state, it is humid. Like trying to go bow hunt down there in September or early October, it can still be 80 some degrees. He's like, I can't, the only thing I can't get behind is like, I don't want to have to wear shorts in the deer stand. I don't want to have to like cover myself in bug spray or wear a thermocell and all that stuff. Cause like you will get eaten alive by mosquitoes down there in South Arkansas. So I got to find somewhere a little bit cooler just to get my hunt in.
Honestly, I hardly ever hunt when it's hot. I mean, I understand, like, don't get me wrong, dude. If I've got a 160 showing up in daylight and it's 100 degrees, homeboy's going to be out there. Like, I'll be out there. But man, I grew up, like, and it's funny, the vast difference in how we grew up. I do want to get back into that on when you was a kid, but when I grew up, if it was hunting season, I was hunting. Like, I didn't care. There was no like, I don't have a good wind, moon ain't right. There was none of this. Like it was, if it's hunting season, I'm out. Whether it's ducks, turkey, deer, didn't matter. If it was hunting season, I'm gonna be out there. And I shot deer. I mean, the first buck I ever shot with my bow, it was probably 90 degrees outside, and I was 17, so I didn't quite care. I mean, I was just happy to be deer hunting. Absolutely. And I did lose a girlfriend over that deer, though. Supposed to meet dad for the first time. And I texted and said, hey, I got a deer on the ground. Like, I ain't meeting your daddy. And she broke up with me. Anyways, I got a dead deer. That's all that matters.
You filled the freezer.
So I grew up hunting. If it was season, I'm going hunting. But now, if it ain't right, I'm not going hunting. And I don't hunt just to go hunt. Like, I want to enjoy it. The first time again, let me preference this. Unless I've got a 160 pinned down and he's coming in daylight like clockwork, I'll be out there no matter what. Come hell or high water, we'll be out there. But anyways, if not, the first day I really go out's Halloween. Like, I don't even go out until Halloween. And that's just because I hate the hot. I hate the heat.
Yep. I get that. The number of times, even in the recent years that I've gone down for muzzleloader, I guess it's straight wall casing now in Arkansas. This was the first year in 2024 you could do just straight wall instead of muzzleloader. But going down there middle of October, like I think my brother-in-law said he hunted one day opening weekend a muzzleloader and he didn't hunt the others because I think he shot one first day, but he was like, I'm not going back out at least until, modern gun, because it's 75, 80 degrees. Like I'd rather just wait till the weather's better. Although I will say, if the weather's not too hot, even if I don't see any deer, just being in the stand, being out in the middle of nowhere, watching the sun come up, birds chirping, all that stuff, like the peace you get just from sitting out there in the silence is always great too. Like,
yeah, 100%.
I feel bad sometimes, especially when my kids were younger and like we would leave and I'm leaving my wife with the little kids for the morning. Like this is my mental reset time. Like I'm getting up early. Yeah. But like being out there and not having to deal with the phone going off or anything, I can just sit there in silence and just kind of reset my mind. Like that part of it is awesome for me too.
Yeah, I usually feel bad, and then when you start seeing deer, that all disappears. It's just
as soon as you get distracted by a deer walking out,
who cares? No, I actually, it's funny, man, because of the position I'm in, I get asked all the time, like, you want to go on this hunt? You want to go on that hunt? Like, I have all these incredible opportunities. It's just like you said. I mean, I got to weigh out, like, man, I'm married. I've got kids. Like, I can't just go out and be gone all the time.
Yeah.
And so I really like opportunities to be able to take the wife and kids. Like last year, I took my boy on a bear hunt and people were like, you're taking your son to the mountains of Montana to bear hunt. And I'm like, yeah,
it's more about it's more about the trip with your son too.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. Like, I mean, the dude's seeing moose scat on the ground and moose tracks. And I mean, he's just absolutely loving life. And, did we kill a bear? No, not even close. I mean, this year I've got a tag and
he won't care about that. He'll talk forever about the trip with his dad.
100%. He had teachers. I had teachers coming back from school and they were saying, did you really take your son bear hunting? Cause that's all he'll talk about. I'm like, yeah, we went bear hunting. You're dang right. We did. And so this year I had an opportunity to come up and, I look for these opportunities where it's like, all right, mama will be happy with this one. And so I had an opportunity to come up to go to Manitoba on a spring bear hunt, chill in a cabin on a lake and shoot bears. And I'm like, that my wife would love that. And so now I'm taking my wife on this one.
That's awesome.
Anyways, you just got to find ways to get people connected.
Well, the good thing
I don't know how I went off on that tangent.
For us, like, again, I just always hunted in Arkansas when I'm there with my in-laws. And what's great is our bonding experience when my wife and I were dating, getting to know my father-in-law and my brother-in-law. I spent a lot of time with them, just the three of us. That was when we were hunting. So getting to know them in that way and just hearing stories and hearing them talk about everything and talk about their life. Like that's how I connected with them early on in the relationship. So that was always really great for me as well. But so when we go hunting down there, if it's opening weekend or if we're there for Thanksgiving or whatever it may be, we come back from hunting and the grandkids are so happy to see their grandfather walk in the door and their uncle and all that. They want to hear about the day. And that also means that my wife is there with her family. So maybe her mom's there, her sister's there. So she has some help as well. So like, there's a little bit of that as well too. Not to say that, more bodies is always better when you got a little bunch of kids under 5, but being able to have that family
and chloroform.
You're not wrong there either.
I don't know if I can say that.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe a little whiskey or rum on the gums or something like that before bed. Right. Yeah. That's what.
Hey, does this rag smell like chloroform?
Yeah. But that's always great too. So we, not only do we get the hunting out of it, we get the family side out of it as well.
Yeah, for sure. No, I always, my daughter gets mad. I've got a 13-year-old daughter now. And I always tell her like, all these boys that think you're cute, like, I'm taking them on a hunt, like if they want to ask to have your hand, in a relationship, they're going on a hunt with me. And she's like, oh, stop, Dad. And I'm like, girl, you can tell a lot about a boy when you stand over him with a gun in one hand and a Bible in the other. Like I'll find out a lot about that kid.
Absolutely.
And, because
even if it's not like in a threatening way, like, oh, he's cleaning his guns. Like
100%.
Like it's still, there's an amount of respect that is usually shown in those situations and how how the guy handles that situation too can show you a lot. Even if he's not a hunter, if he wants to go out and at least be with you and show that he's willing to, spend time with you to get to know you, that's a good sign too.
Yeah. Well, and I do say it in a joking way, but truthfully, just like you said, like when you're on a hunt, there truly is a relationship that is made that I don't feel can be made anywhere else. Like I've had really good friends, and then we go on a hunt, and now it's like, dude, I know you better than I ever could have dreamed of. We have a connection now that it's tight. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And it just happens like, it's hard to explain, but just the camaraderie of a camp and just being out together and, being around guns and taking a life together. Like I know that sounds funny and you're saying it in a threatening way, but there really truly is a connection that's made that I don't feel can be made anywhere else. And so I say it jokingly, but it really is true.
Well, and I feel like maybe not on the first trip of those type things, but when you get to do that a couple of times with a certain group of people start to open up. You kind of see who they truly are, sometimes in a bad way, sometimes, but most of the time you really connect with those people. And I can think of, I've only been on a couple of like hunting trips with, friends and things like that, but the stories that we still tell from those trips every time we see each other. It was 3 or 4 years ago. We still tell stories from that trip. And if one of us is hunting and something comes up that reminds us of that, even if the other people aren't there, we'll text each other about it because there's so much camaraderie there. Yeah. Which I think is another great part of it. And I got to go on a waterfowl hunting trip down to Texas with my father-in-law and brother-in-law this January. And for me, it wasn't even about like, oh yeah, I want to go shoot ducks and geese if we got them, but I don't care if we limit out or not. I am just there to spend time with them and be out with them and hunting and all that stuff. And just the number of times I've heard them tell hunting stories that are hilarious, and I ask them to tell them again, just because it's so funny. Like you can't, I have another song, like you can't tell good stories until you actually go and make those stories. So like, go make them. Like you have to go do that stuff in order to tell, you can't tell those stories unless you make them. So just go do it.
Yeah, that's good, man. Who doesn't love a good gun? Who doesn't love a good gun shop? Just walk in, get up on the countertop stool and share stories with the boys. Talk guns, talk calibers, talk recent hunts. It's a good time. Gun shops are a great place to go and hang out. However, there's a couple gun shops that do it better than others. And then there's one gun shop that really stands out. Powder and String Outfitters. Yeah, I'm a little biased because it's right here in the great town of Wellington, Kansas, right here in my hometown. However, I can tell you that anybody that walks into Powder and String is basically blown away, because Powder and String Outfitters takes you back to a time where, downtown shops were experts in their trade, where a man's word was his bond. They got a creaky floor, they got rustic decor, and they've got a massive selection of guns and ammos. They're a full-service gun shop. They've got an in-house hot bluing facility. They've got a full machine shop. They've got a custom legendary gun engraver. Literally, when I say legendary, Mr. Brian Strange, their hand engraver, is world class. They've got the engraver. They've got gunsmiths. They have everything that you could ever possibly dream of having in a gun shop. They're also a small town, hometown, family-owned shop where you can call and talk to the owner. Guys, they've taken that same feel, that same great gun shop feel, and made it available online, powderandstring.com. You can buy all your guns, all your ammo, all your shooting accessories right there online in the convenience of your own home. You can stand behind the people that you're supporting because the guys are phenomenal. And again, I am of the opinion that if I'm going to shop for guns and ammo, I don't want to do it at a big box store. I want to support somebody like the Powder and String staff. So guys, go check them out for all your guns, all your ammo, all your shooting accessories. They've got it. They are knowledgeable. You can call them. You can talk to somebody, figure out what you need, why you need it, how you need it. They'll take care of you. I actually just bought a new shotgun there. Bought a new A300, and the first shot out of that gun was a dead bird. That's what I'm talking about. And I got it based off their recommendation. Guys, they're phenomenal people. Somebody you can be proud of supporting. Go check them out, powderandstring.com. So I'm curious to know, just to kind of put a bow on that, I live and breathe bow hunting. It's what I love. However, my favorite hunt of the year, every year, is Thanksgiving. I go back home to Arkansas. I sit in a tower blind with my dad, and we have rifles. And am I going to kill a big deer? No. Am I gonna see a lot of deer? Yeah, we'll see a lot of deer. But my expectations are so low for the hunt. And every year, I'll shoot a couple does or whatever on that hunt. But that's not what it's about. It's exactly what we were just talking about. It's making those memories with my dad. It's getting out and enjoying the there's nothing prettier than hunting in the just massive tall pine trees. Mm. Like you said, watching the sun come up between the pines and just, oh, dude, it gets me going every time.
Yeah.
But that to me is one of the funnest hunts ever. And I love sending those pictures to my buddies, and they're like, did you shoot a Labrador? And I'm like, I know it's small. Like, that's not the point. I was with my dad, but anyways, because that truly is what it's about. It's about the relationships that are made out there. It's about building those stories and just having that time with him. And that's what it is, man. That's what it always has been. And sometimes I do a really poor job of making it about trophies and making it about who can kill bigger deer. And, but it's almost like that hunt every year just kind of resets it for me and reminds me like, hey, just enjoy the trees, enjoy the breeze, enjoy being out with your dad, enjoy this right here. Cause this is your roots. This is where it started. This is what started to fuel the passion. Let's keep it about this. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. I mean, and for us, like, again, the size difference, even in the state of Arkansas, you go north of Little Rock, like anywhere up, the size difference from there compared to south of Little Rock is just like that deer right there is the biggest deer we've had on our lease in a long time. We've had a couple of 10 points. It's a 9, but like body wise, width wise, like mass, like that's the biggest deer we've had down there. And for us, it was just like, hey, we've got this 9 point, on the lease. Like, it's not about who's going to get to kill it and all that stuff. It's just one of us has got to get it. Like, and so all year it's like, this is the one we're kind of chasing. So yeah, I could be chasing a massive one up in Kansas somewhere doing the same thing. But for us, it's more about one of us has to get it. It's not a competition of who's going to get it this year. Now, sure, there are times where, oh, you missed that one. I killed it the next day. Like, we'll write that on the back of our mouth.
Suck.
Yeah. Like second deer I ever shot at, I missed. It was Thanksgiving. I missed it. Next day, my father-in-law killed it. So the back of that mount is Blane's first miss. Well, I've got one over here on the other side of the room that my brother-in-law missed, and my brother-in-law don't miss very often. So like, I've got one like, oh, this is one that Gannon missed. So like, we've got a little bit of that, but it's more like just remembering the stories, remembering that season of the hunt. And, we've got 4 guys that hunt our lease down there. We've had one season where we've all killed 4 bucks. Like we're mostly just down there to just, again, like you said, have a good time and enjoy being out there together. And we're lucky that we have areas where we're hunting, loblolly pine or tall pine trees and watching the sun come up. And then we've got another part down in the river bottoms along the Ouachita River that when it's not flooded, it's just beautiful bottomland as well. So we've got a nice you've got the pine trees, but you've got like the oak trees down the bottoms and all that stuff too. So that's just the beauty of all that's great.
Yeah. Now I lived in Northwest Arkansas, but I grew up, we had a deer camp in Star City. If you know where Star City's at. If you've ever been to Star City, you've been lost. Let me just say that.
Hey, I played Star Days once. They got a big festival there. They do. They got a big
all 7 people show up for that one.
Maybe more. Yeah, we had a decent crowd.
Man.
It was who was
hot dang,
I'm
dude.
trying to think who was on that show with us. Who was the headliner? It was I can't think of his name right now. It's the guy Earl Dibbles Jr. guy.
Oh yeah.
Why is his name slipping my mind? I'm just saying catch deers in my head. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
But yeah, they got a good festival there. Star Days is a good one. But yeah. Sorry.
That's cool, man. I didn't know they put on a festival for 43 people. That's pretty cool. No, I grew up hunting Star City, and yeah, you're right. Like the deer, man, there's something that happens. Like there's almost a line across the state.
Oh,
and like you said, it almost is Little Rock. But I'll tell you a funny story. When I was in high school. I was probably 17, and we had a record-breaking snow that was like 17 inches in Northwest Arkansas. And we were going to head down to deer camp. And it was me, my dad, and my brother-in-law. My brother-in-law grew up hunting in Arkansas. Or I'm sorry, he grew up hunting in Kansas. He was from Kansas, and now I live in Kansas anyways. So I had never hunted Kansas yet. Like that was just out of my mind. I thought this right here is the best it gets. Like I thought this is king. This is what everybody loves to do. Anyways, so we had like 17 inches of snow, and my dad was like, let's drive down to deer camp and hunt in the snow. Deer camp's supposed to take about 4 hours to get there. Because of road closures and all the wrecks, we drove, I think, just north of 10 hours.
Holy cow.
And so we drive overnight. We get there in Monticello, pull into the Monticello Walmart, and we have a blowout. We had just driven all night long. We have a blowout. We fixed the tire. We get about, I'm not exaggerating when I say this, about 5 miles from deer camp. We had driven in snow all night long, 17 inches of snow. We get about 5 miles from deer camp, and there's just no snow anywhere. Like just it hadn't snowed in years there. That's what it looked like. We're like, you got to be kidding me, dude. We drove all night long to hunt in the snow. And there's no snow down here. So we seriously, like, we roll into the cabin. Like, we pull into the driveway of the cabin at like 6:45 a.m. Sunrise is at like 7:30. So it's like, hey, just go straight to the blind. Been up all night, go straight to the blind. So we all hunted all day long, did not see one deer. So we drove all night long, overnight, in the snow, blowouts, wrecks everywhere, highways closed everywhere, all night long to hunt in the snow. No snow and no deer. It was horrific. One of the worst things in my life.
I cannot imagine. I'm just imagining. I've driven all over that. I mean, I've driven a lot of miles. I'm traveling for shows and stuff and all over the state for whatever things. But the drive from Northwest Arkansas to Star City is not an easy one in dry conditions. I cannot imagine like the route you guys had to take to get around all that, because a lot of those roads through the state that you'd be trying to get around the interstate or whatever are not the best roads to be driving on in that much snow.
I wish I remembered, because I mean, I was only, I was 17, maybe 16 even. So I was sitting in the back on my cell phone the whole time, and but I remember I remember watching crashes. Like, I remember looking across the highway and just being like, oh, dude's about to crash. I mean, I just watched it all night long. And I'm like, we're doing this for deer? Like, yeah, dude, we're straight up, hardcore, all about it, man. And then we get down there, there's absolutely no deer to be seen. And honestly, I just think that far south Arkansas, deer it just shook their system to see 15 degrees. Like, oh yeah, there was no snow, but it was still cold. And I think I don't think we thought about that. I mean, usually, cold fronts, let's go deer hunting. Well, those deer don't see 15 degrees. No. And I think it quite literally just shut them down. I think they locked up and just bedded down, and we didn't see any deer.
They were bedded down, waiting it out somewhere for sure.
Yeah.
I mean,
look at these idiots.
They have to be absolutely,
look at these morons
starving to get out. Yeah. What's funny is, but you talk about the size of deer. Like, I remember the first time, like, seeing a decent deer in Kansas, like, after I'd gotten into hunting. Like, again, the biggest deer we've killed down, around Camden, Smackover, where we hunt, maybe 200 pounds. Like, you'd be lucky to get a 200-pound buck down there. I've had friends,
and we can shoot does that weigh.
Oh yeah, I've had friends that kill does that weigh that much or way more. But like, I was at went to my grandmother's house. It was either Thanksgiving or the week before, and I had gone up, and like my cousin and I were helping her put like Christmas lights up and all that stuff. And we ran over to her brother's house, which is just north of town there. He had like an 80-acre farm out there, and he's working out in his shop on the farm. And I look over, and there is the biggest, rack I've ever seen. It's just thrown on the side of the barn. And I went and picked it up, and it was 12 points bigger than anything. I'm like, what in the world is this? And I went in and was like, why is this not mounted? He goes, I got 6 of those on the farm right now. Like, those are everyday deer. And I've had like, I'm going to talk to a guy that like does, a guy that I know that I've done for duck hunts in Kansas. He's like, we don't let people come in from out of state and do rifle. We either do bow or like slug hunting or something. Cause they come in and they see something that is the biggest thing they've ever seen, that we don't want them killing a 2-year-old deer. But because they haven't seen anything that big in their life, they'll shoot it if we let them bring a rifle. So we have to like sit with them, make sure it's close enough that we can spot it. And my Arkansas brain of seeing like, if there's an 8-point, it's dropping. Like, that's how South Arkansas is most of the time.
Now I'm in the middle because I have now come to the realization, if it's your best deer ever, don't pass it up.
Oh,
absolutely.
I don't care how. I would agree with that.
I don't care if you're trying to manage this problem. I can't imagine, and I've done it before. I've passed deer that would have been the biggest deer I've ever killed just because I knew there were other deer on the property. And now I look back and think how stupid I was to say I've never killed a deer this big, but he's not big enough. Like, that's so dumb. And so I tell people all the time, like, I don't care if it's a 3.5-year-old deer. If you've never killed a deer that big, shoot that deer.
Absolutely. And especially if you're going on a trip and you're paying for the trip, I hope you're not paying $25,000, $30,000 for a high fence, whatever, but if people got the money and they want to do it, so be it. But if you're paying on a trip to go 10 hours away and stay and all that stuff, and something walks out that, it isn't the biggest deer on the property, but it's the biggest thing you've seen, shoot it. Because number of times that we've got, $3 that come to this, that go by this camera every day. They've been coming here for 7 days straight, and you go out there the next 3 days and they don't show up. Like, that can happen anywhere. And if you're paying money, especially you're going on a trip or wherever, kill the deer.
Yeah. Yeah. But that very thing happened to me. Very first time I hunted in Kansas, I didn't have any land yet. So, one of my buddies was like, hey, you can come out and hunt with me. And I'm like, cool, and we're sitting there hunting and this deer walks out and I'm like, holy crap, dude, this is a 35-inch whitetail, 130-inch whitetail. I start to grab my bow. I'd never seen a deer this big in my lifetime. The biggest deer I'd ever shot to date was, 115 inches. And that was a dandy buck in Arkansas.
Oh, yeah.
And so I grabbed my bow down and I'm getting ready. He's like, what are you doing? I'm like, what do you mean what am I doing? I'm gonna send an arrow right through his pump house. Like, that's what I'm going to do. And he's like, dude, you can't shoot that deer. And I'm like, why not? He's like, it's a stinking 2.5-year-old deer. Like, that's a baby. And I'm like, what are you talking about, moron? Like, we're straight up having an argument with the dude in the tree stand. I'm like, you're dumb. He's like, you're dumb. I'm like, I'm shooting this deer. He's like, you're not shooting that deer. And I'm like, that's the biggest deer I've ever seen in my lifetime. And then I look back and I'm like, oh, wait, never mind. That's the biggest deer I've ever seen in my lifetime. And so it was funny, but I've been in that same situation. And now I've just come to realize, I'm like, you know what? It's really stupid to look at a deer and say, this is the biggest deer I've ever killed. But he's not big enough. Like, that is so dumb. So yeah, I tell people never pass your next best. Like, and it goes back to the whole thing you made, like of being able to have the stories because you made the stories. There will always be times in my life where I have an opportunity to kill bigger deer. Like, I'm not going to miss this one here. You know what I mean? And I'm the picture perfect. Like, I tell myself every year, I'm like, all right, I'm holding out for a true stud. And then the first 135 that walks through there, I'm like, hey, you're dead.
When it's been, 10 months this previous season, or for me, like, I didn't get to hunt much in 2023. And so I killed that 9-point there in 2022. Did not even see anything other than, does and spikes for 2024. And I was there for 2 days. Like, I had Thanksgiving hunt and that was it that year. So I was like, when that, 3.5-year-old little 8-point walked out this past season, I'm itchy at this point. It's been almost 2 years. Yeah. But we always do that. Like, if we get one, then you can always get one and then wait for the big one to come later on in the season or whatever. But, if you got to fill the freezer and it's been a couple of years, I get it. And if you're my father-in-law, if it looks at you the wrong way,
let her rip.
Yep.
Dude, that is the good part about Arkansas. You get 2 buck tags. That's what sucks about Kansas. You only get one.
You only get the one, and you better not shoot a spike with it on accident.
Yeah, so it's hard, man. I mean, I want to manage my properties, and I want to, but it's really hard to say, to shoot a management buck and to say, well, now I can't shoot a quote unquote trophy.
Right.
It's hard, man, and you're right. I wish I wish that I had 2 tags for that reason, because then I'd punch the first, little shorty that walked out and be like, yeah, dude, meat on the ground, blood on my hands, blood on my boots. I got an arrow messy. Yes. Now I can hunt,
right,
late into the season and wait for the big boy.
Yeah, if you haven't shot the big boy come November, everything that walks out, you're going to want to drop. Like, so,
oh, yeah.
But if you've already filled that first tag, you're not as itchy.
I'm the best at having self-control until about November 25th.
Right.
And it's so funny because like all year long, I'll send my dad videos of deer and, deer at like 10, 15 yards underneath my tree. And he's like, that's a dandy. And I'm like, yeah, I'm just waiting for something better, And then come about November 20th, I plug a 135. My dad's like, you've been sending me pictures and videos of deer bigger all year. And I'm like, yeah, but it wasn't November yet.
Right.
Like now I'm wanting to kill a deer. Like I'm real good about being patient for the big ones until the week before Thanksgiving.
Until season's about to end. Well, in Arkansas, because season will end, I think, is it Thanksgiving weekend or the weekend right afterwards? And then there's like a break. And then you have like 6 days after Christmas. You've got 26th, 27th, 28th of modern gun, and then 29th, 30th, 31st of straight wall. So like a lot of people are like, if they've got a buck tag left on those 3 days or those 6 days, they're going to fill it then too. Or any tag left, they're going to fill it in those last couple of days because it's your last chance. Now, I think obviously you could go bow hunting, but like if I can go out there and I can get 2 a.m, I'm going to go do it before the new year.
I'm almost positive, at least when I was growing up, I could be wrong, but I'm almost positive your bow seasons go through February.
I think that's right.
You can hunt like all the way through February.
I think that's right.
Yeah, that's why you need to get a bow. It's not only the better way to hunt, but you get to do it
a lot more time. Yeah. And honestly, you get one early in bow season, you get to, okay, now I can kind of focus on duck hunting for a while and then go back to bow hunting later.
One of the going back to how good Arkansas is, going back to just the resources that Arkansas offers. There's not many states. One of the best days of my life. I shot a limited ducks that morning. And then we were done early. I mean, and we went out fishing. I caught an 8-pound bass. I have pictures of all of these on my phone. I can go back and find them all in the same day. A limited ducks, an 8-pound bass. And then that evening, I'm like, I want to go out and sit in a tree stand. And so I go out and sit in a tree stand and I shot my biggest buck that I ever shot in Arkansas. Not just to that date, but the biggest buck I ever shot in Arkansas, which was like that 115, 117, somewhere right in there. So in one day, limited ducks, 8-pound bass, and the biggest buck I'd ever killed in Arkansas. And
love it.
And it's just like, again,
and you
probably
drove less than a half an hour between all those different places.
Oh, not even close to half an hour. Not even close to half an hour. I mean, the fishing spot. Well, I could. Yeah, I mean, I know right where all 3 of them were. I could. Yeah, I mean, less than 30 minutes.
Love it.
For all of them.
Love it.
And that's what, like, again, like you're just looking at a state and it's like, man, there's so many cool opportunities here. It's such a cool state. And I love everything about it, man. I've shown people pictures of like fly fishing in a creek, and it's just a little creek that runs behind a buddy's house. And people are like, oh my gosh, this is gorgeous. Where's this at? I'm like, behind my buddy's house in Arkansas. Like, and they're like, oh my gosh, look how clear the water is. Like, look how beautiful. And I'm like, yeah, that's Arkansas. Like,
growing up, like going on Lake Hamilton, when like you had friends that had boats, you took your boat out on Lake Hamilton. Like Lake Hamilton's a party lake. I know it's the most popular lake in the state, but like that's a party lake. It's dirty. It's warm water because there's so many people on it and all that. But first time I went to Ouachita, and you're like, oh my gosh, I can see 10 feet down. Like that blew my mind when I was a kid. That like I've never seen lake water this clear. And DeGray's that way too. And we do a lot of crappie fishing on DeGray.
I've never been there. I've always heard the crappie fishing is phenomenal.
It is great. Like I've been out, in the afternoons in the spring and summer and stuff when it's not too hot, and we've caught close to our limit for three of us or whatever. Not that we need. Gosh, we don't need 90 crappie for three people.
Yes, you do.
You catch 50, you can feed a lot of people, but it's always fun.
You can never have too many crappie, man. It's always fun to
catch a lot of them. But like what we like to do is we'll go out in July and August when it's hot and we'll night fish. So we'll anchor up and just night fish from sundown till midnight, 1 a.m. Catch our limiter. Sometimes like we went out 2 years ago and we probably caught 25 crappie and then caught 10 or 15 what we call white bass, or there's a couple hybrids in there, and then caught 2 big walleye. I'm like, my God, like, it's 2 a.m, let's go home. But like next day fish fry, like that's just, everybody comes over. Like that's just, I just love all that. And it's not, like, I was never like, I don't like bass fishing, but I've never been big on like, I'm going to go out and compete with my buddies and catch the biggest bass. It's more about just like being there with your friends, being there with your family, just hole in the water, hanging out. Like that's what fishing has always been to me. And like growing up, we just fished on a pond to my great grandparents. Like they had, 5 or 6 acres and had a pond out there stocked with fish. And that was how we fished all the time growing up. And it was just, I'm sitting out here with my dad catching fish. Is there anything better than that?
Yeah, 100%, dude. And that's something, again, I live right on the Arkansas River in Kansas. Oh, it is the Arkansas. It's not the Arkansas. It is the Arkansas. And there's parts you can walk across. Oh, yeah. Like, I mean, it's a little mud hole. And so when you tell people like, I grew up running, the bass boat on the river, they're like, what? Like,
right.
And I'm like, you don't even understand. Like, you don't understand. This is, Lord have mercy, 200 yards wide and 70 feet deep. I mean, there's barges that go through here. Oh, yeah. Like, this is not, you're not even comprehending the same river I'm talking about. No. And it's just, man, it just offers such incredible opportunities. And I adore crappie fishing. And I have never one time in my life said, I've got too many crappie. You'll never hear that come out of my mouth.
The only time you have too many is when you cook too many for the people that are coming. You're better off if you can kind of estimate out, okay, what are we going to freeze for tomorrow or whatever, because we don't need to cook 50 fish for 8 people. That's about the only time.
Yeah, but if you do, then you just eat too much. That's what I do.
Me too.
I'm on a new diet. I'm on a seafood diet, actually. If I eat seafood, I eat it. Anyways, one of my favorite dishes happens to be crappie. Have you ever heard of ceviche?
Mm-hmm.
I like to make ceviche. Crappie ceviche. Yep.
Interesting. I just recently had never had it until this past summer, had like beer battered crappie, because I'd always just had like the straight up, cornmeal fried fish, which is great. That's how I always had it growing up. That's how I always had catfish. But man, that beer battered crappie takes it to another level. So the ceviche is interesting. I'll have to see if we.
You got to try it.
On some of that.
It's almost like the best thing ever when you're sitting out. And we used to go on the Lower Illinois. I guess that would technically be in Oklahoma, even though it does go in Arkansas. We would fish in Oklahoma, anyways. And you catch a mess of crappie in the morning, and then it starts getting hot, and you soak it in some lime juice, lemon juice. Mm. You've got some avocados and some tostadas, and like you're sitting there and still fishing, and it's hot, and it's like super refreshing because you haven't made the fish hot,
right?
And so it's almost just like real refreshing and bright, and just it's hot. You're still fishing, but you're sitting by the water having this like refreshing meal. Like it is, it's awesome.
Love it, man. That sounds good.
Yeah, you have to try it, dude.
I will try that for sure.
I'll send you a recipe, and you'll have to try it. I have the pleasure. I'd never even heard of ceviche. I'm a basic white boy from Arkansas. Like I never heard of ceviche.
I've seen it on menus and things like that. Yeah.
Yeah. If we catch fish, I'm like
15 years, so yeah.
Oh, there's good food in Nashville.
There is.
But if we caught fish growing up, Mama, like you said, she's gonna throw some cornmeal and fry that mug. I never heard of ceviche. But one of my good friends here in Kansas is a top 10 chef in America, and he's like, if you got crappie, let's make ceviche. And I'm like, I don't even know what you're talking about, but I'm in. And he made it, and I'm just like, I love it. It's one of the best things ever. Yeah, I'm sold 100%. Blane, man, thank you so much for coming on, dude. I appreciate greatly the way that you represent my state.
Still, it's been a pleasure, man.
It's been fun. And when you come to Kansas, we're definitely going to have to hook up. I will get you a bow. We'll get you a prime and have it set up ready to rock and roll. I don't know. Obviously, if you're on tour, I know how that works. You know, you're coming from one place, going to another. But yeah, man, we can shoot, dude. We'll make some crappie ceviche on the back deck, shoe bows, and get you to your concert.
Honestly, you just had me at crappie. So
there you go.
If there's an opportunity to just do a little extra fishing, I'm in.
Yeah, absolutely, dude. Guys, I absolutely love arrows. I'm an arrow enthusiast, an arrow junkie, if you will. Let me tell you why I love deer crossing archery. I love deer crossing archery for several reasons. They give me a phenomenal arrow at a great price. They custom build your arrows. So if you go on their website, if you're not an arrow builder, you can go on their website. You can select your vein colors. You can select your wrap colors, your knot colors. You can select the length you want your arrows cut to, what kind of outserts you want, total overall arrow weight, FOC. You can build all that on the website and get the exact arrow for you. Arrows are not one size fits all. We all have different needs, and deer crossing archery, they understand that. So I can select my shaft. I can select, what ethics kit I want on that, what weight I want it cut to, what length I want the arrow cut to. It's a one-stop shop for building my arrows online. However, they simply just build really good arrows at a phenomenal price. Let me tell you about my favorite arrow. My favorite arrow is the Rupture Pro. Reason being, it's a phenomenal 204 diameter arrow at an unbeatable price. Again, I can get that with an ethics kit straight out of the box, so I can figure out what weight I want to run out front. I can get my FOC just right. That arrow is a perfect arrow for my recurves. I can tune them really well with that because, again, I can work with that ethics system. If I don't want to change all my broadheads out, I can work with that ethics system to really tune that arrow good to my bow. But they also just perform really, really, really well out of my compound. I have shot 12 animals now with a Rupture Pro. I just love the arrow. It's a phenomenal arrow build. And again, it's not going to break the bank. Guys, go to deercrossingarchery.com. Use code TYPICAL, all caps, TYPICAL, to save you some money on your order. But I promise you, you will not be disappointed when you build a set of arrows at Deer Crossing Archery. Go check them out. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Y'all have a fantastic week. Make sure, if you've never heard, if you're a Chiefs fan, first and foremost, you've probably heard the song. You might not have known who it was. But once I found the Arkansas songs, I'm like, oh, this is the dude who wrote the Chiefs song too. Go check out his Chiefs songs. Go check out his Arkansas songs. None of his other songs really matter other than the Arkansas ones. So go check those out. Guys, thank you for listening. Y'all have a fantastic week.